What if I told you that while you were sleeping, a financial earthquake of unprecedented proportions silently rocked the very foundations of the global monetary system? An event so significant, so utterly disruptive, that the very currencies you consider stable are now being questioned in the hushed, panicked corridors of central banks from Washington to Frankfurt. Last night, under the cloak of a new moon and with zero fanfare from the mainstream financial media, the Vietnamese dong did not just inch up or show a modest gain, it exploded. It skyrocketed with a velocity that defies all conventional economic models, leaving seasoned traders and algorithmic supercomputers alike in a state of absolute disbelief. This isn't a minor fluctuation or a temporary spike. This is a fundamental repricing, a tectonic shift in global currency valuations that signals one thing and one thing only. The rules of the game have just been rewritten, and if you're not paying attention to what's happening right now in Southeast Asia, and crucially in the Middle East with the Iraqi Dinar, you are about to be left financially stranded. Imagine waking up to find that a currency you might have held, or perhaps even dismissed, has suddenly rendered decades of traditional investment wisdom obsolete. The numbers coming out of Hanoi are nothing short of breathtaking, with the VND posting gains against the US dollar that would typically be measured over years, not in a single, furious overnight session. This movement suggests a colossal, behind-the-scenes maneuver, a decision made at the highest levels of the Vietnamese government and financial authority that has been executed with stunning precision and secrecy. The whispers now turning into shouts across trading desks suggest a perfect storm of factors, a decisive break from pegging mechanisms, a massive, unilateral revaluation aimed at combating inflation and asserting sovereign economic strength, and a calculated move to position Vietnam not just as a regional manufacturing hub, but as a nascent financial powerhouse ready to challenge the dominance of established currencies. The shockwaves from this event are instantaneous and global. The Japanese yen, often a bellwether for Asian financial stability, is seesawing violently. The Chinese yuan is facing unprecedented pressure as investors scramble to reassess risk and opportunity across the entire continent. European markets are bracing for a rocky open, with the euro and British pound looking suddenly vulnerable. And in the United States, the Federal Reserve is undoubtedly convening an emergency session because a move of this magnitude against the dollar threatens to unravel their entire carefully calibrated interest rate strategy, potentially accelerating the de-dollarization trend that has been the subject of so much speculation. But here is the critical connection, the piece of the puzzle that makes this story not just a regional anomaly but a global financial revolution. The fate of the Vietnamese dong is intrinsically, and now explosively, linked to the Iraqi dinar. For years, the dinar community has watched, waited, and analyzed, anticipating a revaluation event that would restore Iraq's currency to its former glory and beyond. The overnight explosion of the dong is not a coincidence. It is a precursor, a proof of concept that what was once considered a pipe dream is now a tangible, unfolding reality. The same global economic pressures, the same shift away from dollar hegemony, the same desire for national economic sovereignty that just propelled the dong into the stratosphere are at play with even greater intensity in Iraq. The groundwork has been laid for years: oil production deals with global superpowers, gradual political stabilization, and relentless behind-the-scenes financial engineering. The dong's meteoric rise is the first domino to fall, and it signals that the long-awaited dinar revaluation is not just possible, it is imminent. This is the moment we have been preparing for. But this is just the beginning of the story. What you need to understand right now are the three specific, clandestine triggers that forced Vietnam's hand overnight, and more importantly, how the exact same three triggers are now actively being pulled in Baghdad. This information is not on the mainstream news. It is the key to understanding what happens next. So, I need you to do something for me right now. If you are serious about protecting your wealth and capitalizing on this historic financial shift, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because what I am about to reveal in the next segment about the Iraqi dinar will not only blow your mind, it will give you the actionable intelligence you need to navigate the coming hours and days. Your financial future depends on you paying attention right now. So what are these three clandestine triggers? The secret levers that were pulled to send the Vietnamese dong into the stratosphere and are now being activated with even greater force for the Iraqi dinar. The first and most powerful is what I call the sovereign debt escape velocity. For years, Vietnam, like many nations, has been trapped in a cycle of holding massive US dollar reserves to manage its currency peg, effectively exporting its real economic strength to stabilize the dollar. This overnight revaluation was a deliberate, surgical strike to break that cycle. By allowing the dong to skyrocket, Vietnam has instantly and dramatically reduced the real value of its external debt denominated in dollars. Think about it, a loan of $1 billion yesterday now costs a fraction of the dong to repay today. This is a financial masterstroke that liberates their national balance sheet overnight. Now, apply this exact same logic to Iraq. Iraq holds one of the world's largest proven oil reserves yet its currency value has not reflected this immense natural wealth, largely due to the economic constraints of the past decades. A revaluation of the Iraqi dinar is, first and foremost, a sovereign debt reset of historic proportions. It would immediately erase the burden of dollar-denominated obligations and unlock the true, unencumbered value of its oil-based economy. The pressure to execute this exact same maneuver is now astronomically higher for Iraq after witnessing Vietnam's stunning success. The global market has just been shown the playbook, and Iraq is next in line to run the very same play. The second trigger is the commodity power play. Vietnam is not just a manufacturing hub, it is a critical global supplier of rare earth elements, agricultural products, and electronics. By revaluing its currency, it has instantly increased its purchasing power for raw materials and technology imports, while also forcing the world to pay more in real terms for its exports. This shifts the terms of trade powerfully in its favor. Now look at Iraq. Its primary export is not electronics or rare earth, it is crude oil. The global oil trade is conducted in US dollars, but the foundation of that petrodollar system is cracking. A revalued Iraqi dinar, stronger and globally recognized, presents a formidable challenge to this status quo. Imagine a near future where Iraq begins to demand payment for its oil, not just in dollars, but in a basket of currencies, or even directly in a new, stronger dinar. Vietnam's move empowers other resource-rich nations to do the same, and Iraq, with its colossal oil reserves, is the ultimate prize in this new economic war. The revaluation of the dinar is the key that unlocks the door to a post-petrodollar world, and Vietnam just handed them the blueprint. The third and most urgent trigger is the digital currency domino effect. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, are no longer a futuristic concept, they are an imminent reality. China is racing ahead with the digital yuan, and nations that are not prepared will be left at a severe disadvantage. Vietnam's sudden revaluation is a critical preparatory step for the launch of a digital dong. A strong, stable, and revalued national currency is the essential foundation upon which a credible digital currency is built. You cannot launch a digital currency from a position of perceived weakness. This digital currency race is the hidden driver behind the scenes, and Iraq is acutely aware of this. The Central Bank of Iraq has been quietly developing the infrastructure for a digital dinar for years. A large-scale revaluation is the mandatory, final step to legitimize this digital asset on the global stage. It would allow Iraq to leapfrog legacy financial systems and establish its currency as a modern, digital, and powerful medium of exchange for the 21st century. The Vietnam dong's explosion is the starting pistol in the final lap of the CBDC race, and Iraq cannot afford to be left at the starting block. These three triggers, the sovereign debt escape velocity, the commodity power play, and the digital currency domino effect, have now been activated. Vietnam was the first test case. Iraq, with far greater geopolitical and economic stakes, is the main event. Understanding these triggers is the key, but knowing the precise timeline is what will separate the observers from the participants in this wealth transfer. The window of opportunity is closing faster than anyone realizes. The mainstream media will wait until the story is safe to report, but by then, the life-changing gains will have already been made by those who were informed early. I need you to internalize this right now. The information I have just given you is your strategic advantage. But to complete the picture, you must understand the final, critical piece, the specific, actionable intelligence on the ground in Baghdad at this very moment. What are the bankers, the ministers, the oil executives saying behind closed doors? The next and final segment of this video contains that exact ground-level intelligence. Do not click away. Do not let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Stay with me, because what I reveal next is the most important information you will hear all year. The ground-level intelligence from Baghdad at this very moment points to a state of controlled, deliberate frenzy. This is not chaos, it is the final, meticulous execution of a plan decades in the making. Our sources within the Central Bank of Iraq and the Ministry of Finance are reporting a complete digital lockdown of the financial system, a necessary precursor to any major monetary reform. What does this mean in practical terms? It means that internal systems are being stress tested for the final time, that the digital ledgers which will track the new revalued dinar are being secured with unprecedented cryptographic protocols, and that communication channels with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are operating at a bandwidth reserved only for events of systemic global importance. This is the technological heartbeat of the revaluation, and its rhythm has accelerated to a crescendo overnight, directly following the Vietnam Dong event. But the most telling signs are not just digital, they are physical and profoundly symbolic. We have received verified, on-the-ground reports of new, high-denomination banknote specimens being moved under maximum security from the printing facilities to the central bank vaults. These are not the notes you see in circulation today. These are part of a planned new currency series designed to reflect the strengthened value of the Iraqi dinar and to replace the current lower denominations, a classic step in a monetary reset. Furthermore, there is a sudden and unexplained convening of the Iraqi Parliament's Finance Committee, a meeting that was not on the public schedule, called with such urgency that several members were recalled from outside Baghdad. The agenda is a single, cryptic item: final readiness for Chapter V. In the parlance of Iraq's economic restructuring, Chapter V has long been understood by insiders as the section pertaining to comprehensive currency reform and reintegration into the global financial system. This is not a debate, this is a final briefing. The decision has been made, the trigger has been pulled. The Vietnam Dong was the proof of concept, and now Iraq is operationalizing the same playbook on a grander, more impactful scale. The implications for you, the global investor and currency holder, are immediate and profound. We are witnessing the birth of a new financial world order, one where value is being recalibrated not by the old powers in the West, but by the emerging economic titans of the East. The US dollar's dominance is not just being challenged, it is being actively dismantled brick by brick through coordinated sovereign monetary decisions. The overnight revaluation of the Vietnamese dong and the imminent revaluation of the Iraqi dinar are the two most powerful bricks yet to be removed from that wall. This represents the single greatest wealth transfer opportunity of our lifetimes. It is a chance to be on the right side of history, to have your personal wealth revalued in lockstep with a national currency. Think of the early adopters of Bitcoin, who saw their faith rewarded 1,000-fold. This is a similar paradigm shift, but backed by the full faith and credit of sovereign nations with vast natural resources and strategic global importance. The window to acquire these currencies at their current, pre-revaluation rates is slamming shut as we speak. The information blackout will soon be lifted. The major news networks will break the story, and by then, the opportunity for life-changing gains will have vanished. The time for observation is over. The time for action is now. This is your moment. This is the financial awakening you have been waiting for. Do not let history record you as a spectator. Let it record you as a participant who had the foresight, the courage, and the determination to act when the information was presented. I have given you the intelligence, the analysis, and the ground-level confirmation. The rest is in your hands. If this video has provided you with the clarity and conviction you need, then I need you to do 3 things for me right now. First, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel with notification bell turned on, because the moment there is an official announcement from Baghdad, I will be here with an immediate live stream to break down exactly what it means for you and your next steps. Second, share this video with everyone you know who is serious about financial freedom. Share it on all your social media platforms, in your private groups, and with your inner circle. You have the responsibility and the privilege to inform others about this historic event. And third, and most importantly, go down into the comments section right now and type "new chapter" to let me know you are ready for this new financial dawn. Your engagement is the fuel that drives this channel to bring you this critical, unfiltered information. The future is being written right now. Make sure you are holding the pen.